this opening of the Waldstein sonata, there are certain problems that people keep bringing for solutions, and I thought that I will discuss some of them. The first one has to do with the first two measures, the repeated, and then going on into the left hand for many more measures, the repeating of those intervals. So what people usually come with is very, very, very short staccato, and it feels out of control, inaccurate, they're not getting the sound that they want. So this is the first thing to take into consideration. When we repeat intervals, all we need to do is go up and down with the keys, what we call riding the keys up and down. The forearm has to go down with the keys as always, very free to go down, and that freedom gives the control to bring it down, and for the key then to ride you up, and you're coming down again, never leaving the keys. So it sounds this way and looks this way. That also allows for going faster very easily, because there's absolutely no waste of movement, either going up, coming down, or plucking in such a short way that it freezes the hands in the air. So here is what it looks like. There's one other thing, a couple of other things that are added. When I'm playing those repeated chords, I give them a little bit of a shape, which means I don't play them exactly in the same place. It's done so minutely that you may not see very much of it, but you probably will be able to hear the difference musically also, rather than sounding this way. Which is also tiring. We're using the same movements over and over and over again, whereas if we do this, coming a little bit higher and a little bit lower, you can hear how it immediately creates a phrase over 4 notes. Adding to that is a little bit of a beat, because very often people ignore the first note. They start, it sounds like that, but it really starts on the first note. So it also brings the rhythmic aspect to it. So it helps with organizing every 4 notes. It helps make the movements very smooth and untiring, and it also has a musical effect. So again, doing it this way. So this is the first problem. The second problem is the jump from here to here. People often don't even play the last note. The arm is already pulling them to the right to get to the note over the distance. Now, when we discuss jumps or leaps, there are 2 notes that are involved. One is the one that we go from, which is this one, and that's the one that's the jumping board for us to get to the second note. So if we don't play it, we have to pull ourselves over, it's inaccurate, and it also is time consuming. The moment we use this one as a jumping board, this note, to get us there, the forearm is being sent over rather than we moving ourselves, so it gets absolutely sent over very quickly. And when you have a slight rotational movement, I will exaggerate it, this one going to here, rotations always minimize the motion anywhere you go, and it's also a faster movement than just going straight across. It brings the forearm across, but in smaller amount. Also musically, we hear that note, which is part of the music. Not only that, but in the working out of this issue, you take a split-second time, I'm going to exaggerate it, so that you can really play it in a way that sends you. So, and again, in the end, you don't hear it, but it's underneath in just the minute amount as is necessary to finish that note and to send us over. And the same thing happens will stay here or pull over instead of being sent by that note, by that G. And of course, if we do it same as we cross over in scales and arpeggios, it sends us very, very quickly over to the bass area. Another thing, if you notice, my torso is right where my arms have to be. My fingers, hand, and forearms have to be. So they start here. It moves to a place where I am positioned equally between both heads. And when this is sent back, my torso is moving over just in the right amount to be there, so my playing apparatus, the finger, hand, and forearm, can be in the proper place. So that's the other issue, that the torso cannot be always positioned right in the middle. That's a starting point, but then wherever we go, it has to follow so the arms can be in the right place. Another issue that people bring is the soft playing, because most of the time there is a sense of holding up in order not to get too much sound, but that feels very out of control. You can still not tell what will come out, and the quality of sound is often very hollow. You don't really hear it. It doesn't have the depth or the fullness that it should have. So this is another thing. In going, when you're writing the keys, you're already very close to the keys. Going slower into the keys like that gives you soft sound. It's a feeling of going almost from the point of sound, which is about 3/8 of an inch from the bottom of the key to the bottom, and the forearm, the heavier part, which is the forearm, gives us the control to slow down those keys without any effort, so the fingers can go down very easily, and I'm not using the soft pedal when I do it. I have a choice though. If I want to use the soft pedal, I can. It gives it a slightly different effect, but there should be a feeling, whether you use the soft pedal or not, that you can control those keys and get the sound that you want. As we keep on going, in measure 8, just another point, as we go from here to here, the forearm has to adjust by going a little bit forward, so you feel that you're on this interval, and then you over in this interval. It's going from a short finger to a long finger. This is part of what we call shaping from the forearm. So that really makes you feel that you're right over the second interval, and also brings out the sense of syncopation. So he goes pa pa pi pa 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 pa, and finally into this interval. Now watch when I go to the second beat, I go a little bit forward, which gives it the sound of sforzando, and also doesn't sound like I have. When you play two intervals exactly the same, they sound exactly the same. You want it to sound yam pa, so that is like down and forward. Another issue that people come with, starting measure 14, is this. How to control this trill-like figure. And that goes into the single rotation. That the forearm has to turn right when you go to the right on the third finger, and left when we go to the thumb. This is how we play trills. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Exaggerated will be like that. By the way, the exaggeration comes completely out of the necessity to free up the forearm. Once it's freed up, it feels much better and much more efficient to make it small, and that's also how it can go into speed. The large motions slow down the speed, and their step very often in getting to this end result, which is very, very small. Left hand, same. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Forearm turning. And then we have to integrate the two, coordinate the two hands. They go opposite to each other. One other issue here in measure 14 is the jump in the left hand. Music is made up always of lots and lots of leaps. And we have to learn how to do them in a way that we don't have to practice them over and over and over again and then lose them again. Here, it's again, it goes, I would say, under the same issue that I showed before, the same way that one has to send you to the other. Here, you're going from the octave to the single note. And one thing that helps, you are repeating the same note, the same key on the thumb and then on the 5. So if you use the rotation to bring you right over the 1 to the 5, it goes very, very quickly. And thinking the closest note, which is this C, makes it feel like you're moving very minimally. So here it is. Now when we go from measure 17 to measure 18, you have this jump and you have this jump. I call it a double leap. There's sometimes one leap, sometimes there are two, there are three, one following the other. Can be many. So again, stop a split second before the thumb, the G, as a way to train yourself. And then make sure that when you get to the octave, again it sends you over. Again, 1 to 5 is your closest note. 1 to 1 is your closest note. Again. This is how we do that. So this again in short, just to highlight certain issues, and I will cover one other, which is measure 21 going to measure 22, left hand. We have this repeated figure, and suddenly you're going to an A sharp, and most of the time people go this way, which is a twist. It's twisting the hand to the left side, and twisting can cause a lot of problems. It breaks up the alignment. It also brings the hand to the extreme range of its motion, and very often results in pain on the side of the wrist, left and sometimes also right. So the way to resolve it is to use the last 4 notes I measure 21 to move the hand and the arm into the black key area in a straight way. So by the time I get to this interval, I'm right across from the A sharp. And when I'm finished, I come straight out. So we have the in and out motions combined with the rotation to navigate us into the black key area and out of the black key area.